Church Kids, it's me, Miss Lily, and I'm so pumped to be here with you on this amazing Sunday to do the story with you together. But before we get into story, it's time for Question of the Week! And in today's Question of the Week, I want you to think back and wonder, what kinds of things do kids not like? I know for me, when I was a kid, the one thing that I really didn't like was eating vegetables. I know, it's true. I'm an adult now. I kind of like vegetables, but as a kid, vegetables were my biggest enemy. And because I was Vietnamese American, my mom and dad would make me the most amazing Vietnamese meals, but whenever it came in front of me, there were tons of vegetables on it. They never listened to me when I said, I don't want to eat vegetables. They said, you have to eat vegetables, Lily. And I would just sit there and pick all the green stuff out, the red stuff out, the orange stuff out, because I didn't like vegetables. And that was something that I really didn't like doing. But you want to know what's even harder than that? Sharing. Oh my gosh, sharing is one of the hardest things that we have to do. Even still to this day, sharing is really difficult. And I remember when I was a kid and my family would have a big accomplishment. Maybe we did great at a piano recital. Maybe we got a good grade on a test or something. My parents would take us to our favorite fast food restaurant. It is not Chick-fil-A. It is not Burger King. It is the original, the amazing, big golden M. Everyone say it with me. McDonald's. Donald's. I love McDonald's. I would always order their chicken nuggets, and I would always order their French fries. Oh, McDonald's French fries, I still dream of them to this day. They were amazing, and I would dip them in sweet and sour sauce. But for some reason, my family didn't order French fries. It was really only me that ordered French fries. And whenever my brother or sister would say, ooh, I want a French fry, and they would take their fingers and try to take one of my French fries, I would smack their hand and I would say, these are my French fries. I'm not sharing my French fries. You should have ordered your own French fries. But that's how I did with everything potatoes. I wouldn't share potato chips. I wouldn't share baked potatoes. I wouldn't share mashed potatoes. I wouldn't share hash browns. I mean, you name it, Church Kids. I just loved potatoes. I don't know. It was really hard for me to share those things. But some things are just way too good not to share. For instance, if it's your birthday and you get this super awesome, cool toy and you want to show your friends, you want to kind of share that gift with the people around you. Or maybe you discovered this amazing, yummy ice cream shop and you want to tell your family and friends about it. Some things are just way too good not to share. And in the same way, Jesus is way too good not to share, because when we accept Jesus and we realize how amazing Jesus is, we have to share him with everyone because he has changed our lives forever. And in the story, we meet two people. Their names are Paul and Silas. But before they knew Jesus, they were mean, they were angry, they were selfish, they only really cared about themselves. But when they accepted Jesus into their hearts, their lives changed from the inside out, and they dedicated their lives to going from different cities, different towns, sharing the good news of Jesus. Well, in this story, Paul and Silas go to this new town, expecting to do the same thing, meeting different people, sharing about Jesus' love and grace on their lives. But the town's leaders didn't want to hear it. Some people just didn't want to hear about Jesus. And what did they do? They actually arrested Paul and Silas, beat them up, left hook, right hook, kick, and left them super bloody, super bruised, and they were broken, Church Kids. And what did those leaders do after they beat up Paul and Silas? They gave them to a jailer, a person who kind of runs a jail, and that jailer threw them in the deep darkness of a dungeon. The jailer cuffed their hands, cuffed their legs so they couldn't move at all, really, and left them in the dark, just Paul and Silas by themselves, and the jailer left. Well, Church Kids, I feel like if I were them, I would be really, really scared. But Paul and Silas were different. They actually were really okay. They knew that they would be okay because they had Jesus. So what did they do when they were in their jail cell, all bruised and everything? They started to sing. They started singing worship songs at night. And guess what Jesus did? He sent a massive, a catastrophic, a ginormous earthquake to the town that shook everything, even the jailer's house, even the prison, shook everything, so that in the prison cells opened and all of the chains broke. The jailer was so afraid because that's his job. His job is to make sure all the prisoners are in their prison cells, locked up. But then when all the prison doors opened, the jailer was so scared that he would get into so much trouble. But at the same time, he's like, Paul and Silas, they love Jesus and they got put into this jail cell where they should be sad and they should be scared. But they're praising Jesus and they're singing to him. And now they're free. He couldn't believe it, church kids. The jailer ran to Paul and Silas' cell, and he said, I need to know Jesus. And in the Bible, it said in Acts 16, 29, 30, the jailer called for lights and rain to the dungeon and fell down trembling before Paul and Silas. Then he brought them out and asked, Sirs, what must I do to be saved? Whoa, 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 whoa. So that's really crazy because the jailer was the mean guy who locked him up. Do you think that Paul and Silas will share the good news of Jesus? Or do you think he'll be like me and not share my French fries with anyone? Paul and Silas, of course, had to share the good news of Jesus and Jesus' grace for the jailer, and he actually also did it for his family too. And in Acts 16, 31 to 33, it said, they replied, believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved, along with everyone in your household. And they shared the word of the Lord with him and with all who lived in his household. Even at that hour of the night, the jailer cared for them and washed their wounds. And then he and everyone in his household were immediately baptized. Church kids, not only did the jailer and his family accept Jesus, but they also got water baptized. That's one of the most important things that we can do as Jesus followers. And because we're Jesus followers, that's what Jesus wants you to do too. To be like Paul and Silas. To show the world, show people in your life how good Jesus is. And Jesus also wants you to share the things that you have with the people around you, because Jesus was a generous God. And we are generous Jesus followers. And when we're able to do that, we become more loving, more gracious, more generous, just like Jesus. So we're going to practice that this week. We are going to practice to be generous. We are going to share about Jesus' grace to everyone in our lives so that more and more people get to love, get to know, get to learn more about Jesus.